Hopefully you're finding this video before purchasing a used Wrangler JK models 2007 to 2018. And if you did, consider yourself lucky, because what I'm going to tell you right now is a huge warning, and you might consider not purchasing the vehicle after you watch this video. Now, there's a lot of videos on YouTube talking about what to look for on a used Jeep Wrangler mechanically, wear and tear, things like that. But this video is here to talk about something that no one on the internet is talking about before considering purchasing a used Jeep Wrangler JK. This also goes for the JLs and Gladiators too, but let's stay on topic. You're here because you're looking at a JK. You got to the dealer and this is it right here. The color, it's lifted, it's got tires, it's got the rims, it's even got a sound system. This is the one you want. So now, after considering everything else that you might have heard on the internet, look for those things, because that's valuable to look for. Mechanical issues, running the vehicle, this and that. But I'm here to talk about the issue that no one is talking about, and that's the reason I have this towel actually on my shoulder. So the reason I have this towel on my shoulder is because so many Jeep owners have to ride around with this and keep it in their vehicle somewhere after purchasing it as their daily driver, which you're probably considering as well, right? Buying this and using it as a daily driver. So the issue that these Wranglers have that will have you probably reconsidering your purchase is you have to ask yourself, would it suck? Okay. Now, here's, you fill in the blank. Well, you answer yes or no. Would it suck if after you daily drove this to work or to the mall or anywhere, and you got out, you did your thing, and you came back, would it suck if there was this much water on the floorboard? Would it suck if your seats were soaking wet? Would it suck if the seat belt was also wet and the radio got shorted out? I think the resounding answer on that would be yes. I know I'm going to have a lot of my stand-up comedians, my Jeep stand-up comedy act in the comments saying, no, that wouldn't suck, I love it. But if it would suck for you, okay, then you're going to want to consider this before purchasing a used Jeep Wrangler. And the reason it sucks is because the Jeep Wranglers, I would say 9 out of 10 of them, and you do have your exception, and I call those jackpot Jeeps. The jackpot Jeeps do not have this problem, but they are far and few. So the similar problem that they all have every year, 2007 to 2018, is that when you go to the dealer, and I want you to look for this, check the body side of the vehicle. And you're going to be looking for a piece of rubber that looks just like this one on the door side. And what you will find is no matter which one you open, 2-door, 4-door, hard top, soft top, none of them have a piece of rubber that goes continuously around the body side. And that is why it sucks. That is why water pulls up in the footwell, makes the seat wet, shortens out even the radio, because the freedom panels are not having a solid seal either. Well, let's just stay with the body for a second. Okay, if there was a body side seal here, a piece of rubber that married up with this piece of rubber here when the door slammed, it would not suck, because just like every other vehicle on the road today, it would keep water from getting to the inside of the vehicle. And this is something that no one's talking about. And I'm sure in the comments of this video, you're going to have people saying, well, it's a Jeep, it's supposed to leak. If it ain't leaking, it ain't Jeeping. Well, that's not exactly true, because there's a very logical solution. If this is your vehicle, right? It's got everything you want, and you just, this is it. I'm getting it. Well, guess what? There's an easy way to fix this problem, and is literally by putting a vehicle-specific body side seal on all of the doors, or if it's a 2-door, just the front 2 doors, and also the cargo. It leaks. Sealing these doors so that this way it stays nice and dry, and you won't have to ride around with the towel and soak things up after you get out of work, right? You spend 8 hours at work, you get into the vehicle, and you're here soaking it up, soaking it all up. Not to mention that water that gets into the vehicle leads to mold and mildew, and it just smells nasty. So if you're asking yourself, perhaps, how can I find a jackpot Jeep then? I don't want to have to maybe even put a body side seal on the vehicle, or maybe I don't even want to have to potentially get caught in buying one of these leaking Jeeps. What would I have to do? Well, that's like finding a needle in a haystack. It's kind of like hitting the lotto. They are out there, they are far and few, but here's what you can do. When you go to the dealer, the first thing that you're going to want to look for, okay, and I recommend going to the dealer the day of a rainstorm, visiting the dealer the day it rains, or perhaps the day after, okay, but get to the dealer when it rains. and then open the door of the vehicle, and you'll quickly notice there is not a body side seal here, so done. At least you know what you're looking for. Second thing is touch the carpets, feel the seats, smell the interior of the vehicle, because this will give you all of the indications whether or not this is or is not a jackpot Jeep. Okay, the jackpot Jeeps do not smell musty or moldy. The jackpot Jeeps also have their carpet still in them. But a lot of people, what they don't realize is that the water gets underneath the carpet and you don't know what's going on under there. And in some cases, there's mold growing underneath the carpet. So if you open one of the vehicle doors, like when I purchased this one, and it is literally bare metal, there is no carpet, that means you've got yourself a leaker. This thing is guaranteed to leak. That's where this will come into play. You can daily drive this, keep this wherever you want. It gets nasty and starts stinking as well, and that would be very annoying. Okay. The other thing to look for is that there are drain plugs here on the floor, right here on the front of the driver's side, and there's two of them. And that is these little, here, let me show you them right here. That is these little rubber plugs that are in the floor of the vehicle. Now, once you get into the vehicle, and if it has carpet, you won't be able to see these drain plugs. So it'll be hard to know if it's there or not. This vehicle actually had no carpet and no drain plugs. But I knew I could turn it into a jackpot Jeep simply by putting the body size specific seal, and I'll put a link to that body size specific seal here in the description, just by simply putting one of those seals around the perimeter of all of these doors, including the cargo, and also sealing the freedom panels. So that is one thing to look for. No carpet, that tells you right away someone traded this in because it was leaking all over the place. The second thing is the drain plugs. Are they in or not? That tells you how bad the leaking was happening. The other thing that I look for, and right away I knew this was a leaker besides that, was that the seat covers were like a scuba diving material, which are actually fantastic. I'm going to make a video about how great these seat covers are, because they actually are better than any seat covers I've ever seen. And as you know, a lot of these used Jeeps, I've seen Jeeps that have $100,000 worth of everything, and then you open the door and it's the factory cloth seats, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're just beat down and battered. These seat covers are fantastic. I'll leave a link for these seat covers. Actually, I'm gonna do a video, so let's do that. I'm not gonna leave a link to something you really can't see yet. I'm gonna do a video, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel, because I'm gonna get into all these little things that no one's talking about Jeep Wranglers. So that's another telltale sign. If the seats are wet, or if there's seat covers made for wetsuits, like you're gonna go surfing, that's something to look for. But I just want to make you aware of this one issue before you purchase a used Jeep Wrangler JK, or to be honest, any year Jeep Wrangler. Like I said, this is not all of them, but is the majority. I would say 9 out of 10 Jeeps suffer from this issue. So if you're looking to buy a used Jeep Wrangler, hopefully you found this video before you purchased it, because the other thing you probably found yourself purchasing, if you haven't seen this yet, are one of these and keeping them inside the vehicle. But like I said, there's a very simple way to fix this, and literally you just put the body side seal that was made for this vehicle on the body of this vehicle. It's very simple, very easy. Again, there'll be a link for that in the description, but that will solve your problem. And there's the one thing, and for me this is huge, especially when you're going to be daily driving this vehicle. This is the one thing that makes all the difference. Whether or not you've got a jackpot Jeep, right, and you got lucky, it's like hitting the lotto, or you have a leaker and now you're constantly dealing with this issue. Especially a lot of people, what they also have to do with these leaker Jeeps is they have to buy not only the carpet, but then they have to buy a cover for the vehicle to keep the leaking from coming in. So it's kind of, for me, very annoying, and it would be a deal breaker. And perhaps if you've already bought the vehicle, you know what I'm talking about. This is such an annoying problem that no one ever told you about. And the last thing I want to leave you with is this little tip as well. If you can't get to the dealer when it's raining because you live in an area where it doesn't rain much, I would suggest that on your test drive, you offer to wash the vehicle. Take it to a car wash. And that right there will give you a clear indication when you go through the car wash whether or not you've got a leaker, because you'll see it leaking here, here, halfway down the windshield there. You'll see water creeping over the door here. Also, you might find that there's drops of water on the radio. and that'll give you a nice indication. So a simple basic, don't do the arm roll when you do this either, you know, or the hot wax. Just a basic car wash will be perfectly fine. Let them do that. But yeah, this might tell you right off the bat whether you got a leaker or you've got a jackpot Jeep. And then you can make your decisions from there. So with that being said, guys, I hope this was helpful. And I really do hope that you saw this video before you purchased your used Jeep Wrangler JK or Gladiator or JL, because they all suffer from this issue. And if there's a vehicle that you really have your eyes set on and it's got everything you want, just know that even if it does leak or there's no carpet or you clearly know it is a leaker, the easy way to solve it is just by putting body side seals on this vehicle. And again, the link for those will be in the description below. So I hope this was helpful in helping you make a decision whether or not to purchase a used Jeep Wrangler JK. And obviously you probably want to, well, keep this in mind when you do.